Welcome to the channel. Today I wanted to discuss boundaries. One of my subscribers asked me if how do you create a boundary and if it's necessary to let go of someone like the divorce. So this is only from my perspective. Um, Please don't take everything that I say as 100% fact or true. Use your own discernment. But this is my own perspective. I'm just gonna use it based off the relationships with family members and people in my life that I had to let go. Because I also want to say, letting go is another form of unconditional love. Because when you let go of a situation, um, it's a life lesson on both ends. Um, if you leave the person, and then it gives them a choice. They have a choice to either try to reflect on themselves or separate. So, how I will create a boundary, the boundaries, they start from within yourself. So, now how this is how I'll put it into words. So, your internal affects your external world within yourself. And so, the energetic boundaries that you start to place is the self-love boundaries. So like if the other person's a codependent, the other person focus on codependency or you're codependent on them. If you start to become more independent within yourself, like instead of seeking out others, instead you set your internal dialogue within your mind that I am self-sustaining, and that is a boundary in itself, because you set, it's almost like you set into your internal settings or your filter that you're no longer searching for someone outside of yourself. Because whenever the boundary starts with the boundaries always start from within yourself. By changing something within yourself, then you wouldn't even have to break off like so much in the physical, because usually when people think about boundaries they think about physical first, but actually the boundary starts with internal internal dialogue and understanding bonding and rejection impulses, understanding those forms within yourself, understanding your internal program, then will allow to attract to you the correct circumstances. So let me move back because I don't know if everybody can fully understand what I'm saying, and like I'm trying to put this into words, but I bring it back. So if you create a boundary in the external without first looking internal, you attract you will attract the same type of person or the same energy. So it requires you first to look within yourself, understand um, your thoughts, how you're rejecting or pulling people into you. For example, if you say in your mind, um, I despise this type of person, or I don't want this type of person in my life, well, then you're attracting that person into your life because you're speaking it into existence. So the universe only will give you what you are what your intentions. Like it was like, okay, I don't want this person in my life. Well, the universe said, okay, well, I have to bring this person into your life so you don't want them. So by changing your internal dialogue and what you're truly asking for internally, instead you ask, I see loving people in my life. So then your internal magnet flips. So your the more you repeat and have positive affirmations within yourself, the more you be able to change your internal magnet, and that internal magnet will make a boundary. So you can imagine this is what a boundary would be like. So internal magnet, you know how two magnets, when they're aligned correctly, they'll come together. But when you turn your internal magnet on by choosing the correct what you actually want internally, anything that is negative, or I want to say negative, or I don't want to add the word negative. I will say what you do not prefer. What you do not prefer, it won't be able to connect. The boundary will be created, and anything that is not what you prefer internally will be reflected off. So bringing back into like a relationship, if you're in a relationship and you are an internal boundaries created from within, actions that the other participant will no longer resonate. So you slowly start to disconnect from each other. It'll be almost like you be in two different dimensions. And then the best way to like end a relationship, there's two ways. Um, I do not know 100% from experience for like if you're married. I don't know the whole entire process. I'm not gonna lie, but from like I'll say like relationships with like family members or just friends, if you have to let them go, is either you can explain to them um, that you're no longer resonating anymore, or this is not working out. But this is you want to do this after you start to set your internal boundaries, because if you don't set your internal boundaries, like what you prefer, what you don't prefer, like what you allow, then you can end up falling back into the same cycle again, repeating the same cycle. So like if you just go up in the physical, and then but you haven't made a boundary what you will allow and what you don't allow within yourself, and then you go up to a person and then say you want to end it, then the person is going to make up a reason or they're going to try to push on the boundary that you set. So this is like an example. I made a boundary within myself with a coworker that I had. So the coworker was doing everything in their power to try to make me become more closer. So like, being like, hey, I want if you need help, just call me. Here, I give you my phone number. Or if you do this, if you have a problem with this, get in contact with me. But I realized internally, if I accept his phone number, when I did, that's when everything started to break down, because then I went into the state of codependency that I need someone else in my life to fix the problem with the machine or anything I was working with. So I realized that okay, well, I do not prefer this. So what I did was I deleted the phone number. Then I slowly start to not overshare myself. So I start to put boundaries within myself. Like, no, I'm not going to make myself rely on somebody else to solve my problem. And that's when I realized like how powerful the mind is because if I believe that I need someone else to fix the machine, then that's when the machine starts to break down. But if I completely remove all doubt that the machine is going to break down and I don't really need any help, the machine doesn't break down. And it's been like that for a month. I had no issues. Once I started to realize that your mind is actually affecting like the machinery and everything else electronically and everything around you. So establishing that internal boundary caused me to not need, or that specific relationship started to not resonate anymore because I was not codependent on needing someone else to fix my problem, or needing somebody to be codependent on. And then slowly, the power of your silence can put a message out in a relationship. Like, so if you want to make a boundary, your silence, not being silenced, but being silent, choosing when to speak and not speak. So, um, if you want, like, if someone's being toxic to you, for example, if somebody who's like cussing you out or being disrespectful, if you don't say anything and you just look and don't react, do not react within yourself, and don't really react out external. So if someone say, "F you," "I don't like you," or all this other stuff, but if you don't say anything, you just look. That right there is setting a boundary, and what it says is that you're not accepting, the energy. Because when you don't reply, you're not accepting the energy because you're not replying. Because a lot of people think that you have to say something back. To win any argument is actually to say nothing. So if someone's yelling and you're trying to break it up. The first boundaries you can set is choosing when to speak and when not to speak. So there's no need for revenge. To set the boundaries and release yourself from a relationship that's toxic, you actually have to do everything that's opposite in a toxic relationship. Usually people go back and forth, but the other person sends hatred towards you, but you become neutral. You let go. So you start to, someone say something mean to you, you don't hold on to it, you don't react to it, you say nothing. You just go straight into the observation mode, this observing this person. Um, because this process is not going to be quick. It can be quick, but then also the lessons are come quick. It's a gradual process of letting go, and you have to ask your spiritual masters. The best way I can say is ask your spiritual masters to show you the truth and show you um, the best way out. Because I'm saying this, but a lot of what I'm saying is it's a little bit hard to put into words. I am going to try to dive more deeply into this subject because honestly, I am still learning boundaries myself. So what I'm saying is not finite. It is my own unique perspective. So please don't take this into like 100% truth. I want to say thank you for joining me today on this video. I know it's a little bit different. Um, I think I'm gonna start writing. I'm gonna start writing a script or like key points because usually I'm just going from like memory and I'm just going back and forth. It would be really interesting if I was able to like share my thoughts psychically with everyone, like, because I see pictures. Everything comes to me in pictures, so it's kind of hard to me explain what I'm trying to say because all the scenarios are it's almost like motion pictures or gifs that play in my head, and they go back and forth really fast. So I can't really put it into words. I'm trying to explain. But yeah, thank you. May your day be filled with light. Um, yes. So, namaste.